What's a zombie without parts of the flesh missing and being pulled from the model? I'm going to turn symmetry off, and let's take this nose and really start to change it. If not, just lose the nose entirely. All of that cartilage is just going to fall off. How would I go about doing that? In my case, I'm going to come into Trim Dynamic. Okay, and symmetry can be on for the early stages of this actually, so I just turned it back on. And I'm just pressing. And I'm going to go to the nasal bone. There we go. And in. And I'm just making circles to kind of push this back. You also press Alt, and when you press Alt, it'll actually build back up. So with that done, I felt like I needed to cut away a little bit of that upper lip too. But now I'm going to switch back to Clay Buildup, lower my draw size, and I'm going to start to sculpt the interior of this nose a little bit. Symmetry is off. And do I want the whole guy to be this kind of zombie without a nose? Would one part of it still have a nose? You know, or some portion of the nostrils hanging out? I mean, that could be really weird. We could see if we could sculpt it. You see how I'm smoothing out and using Clay Buildup to just add a little bit of form. And it's getting me that profile back, so I'm just brushing back and forth, and it's grabbing the form and pulling it out. So this isn't new, but it's good to see. Okay, smoothing it out, because Clay Buildup is going to be quite destructive. And let's really twist this nostril around. Yeah, there we go. Make sure you get the different parts, so don't forget, you've got a nostril, you've got alar cartilage, and you've got that lateral cartilage. Want to make sure you're getting that, because it just helps the believability so much. And turn symmetry back on to get that. A little bit of texturing. I kind of like it. A little bit of the nostril left. Let's turn floor off. And back in with Clay Buildup. Symmetry is off. Really dig in that nasal cavity. We could put a hole right in there if we were using Dynamesh, but we'll just keep it simple like this for now. Now, what I want to do is start to chop out a few pieces, so I'm going to mask a few things. And then I'll Control-click to invert, and then with Clay Buildup, just cut in. Then I'll clear the mask and sculpt around it, as well as come into Damien's standard brush, right, the Dam standard brush, and start to create some contouring. What's going to be behind here? Because we want to think about what's behind there. Well, my thought is it's definitely going to be a tooth. And one way that I might really get a nice hard edge with the tooth is by using the H polish brush. So that's a new brush for you. And the H polish is really good at establishing clean edges. Okay, switch over to the Move brush. It's in my hotkeys. I'm just going to pull that forward. And then over to Damien's standard brush. And the gum line. There we go. Little suggestion of teeth in there. And really just cleanly done. Not too many problems. Alright, what about a little bit of zygomatic bone showing here? The way you want to do it, use a brush like Damien Standard Brush, or just use, I'm going to switch brushes now and go over to /3. Okay, /3 brush. And I'm going to establish my parameters. And then once I've established those parameters, I can go back in with, let's say, either clay buildup or really probably just H polish. But I'm going to use clay buildup to push in. Making sure that I've got volume and contour. And then switching over to H polish. Where'd it go? And H polish's tendency to flatten things is going to naturally start to create just a really wonderful separation. You can press Alt with H polish as well. I'm going to smooth out the borders where these guys connect. And then H. Alright, there we go. And now Damien Standard Brush. I'm just pushing in and changing the plane. It's kind of like using, it's just tilting that plane really. And smooth it out. And come back into H polish. Just to reinforce. Okay, you can adjust the edges of this a little bit if you want. You know, come in with Damien Standard Brush and just push in and just start to sketch. So it's a boom, and you're just sketching little sketchy strokes. Okay, you might even start to indicate a muscle attachment in there. It's zygomatic. Okay, the zygomatic minor. Levitator labii may be coming in here, so we're going to get more of a muscle fiber. And let me make sure that there's some edging. There we go. Alright. Now it's your turn, okay, to go in, take the very simplified version that you've got, and what you're going to be using now is the DAM standard. Okay, you're going to use /3, build up, use masks to cut out chunks like we did down here in the lip. Use build up to build up form and adjust. Use /3 to delineate forms, and use the Damien Standard Brush to really work the edges. So you want to think like a sculptor. You've got a bunch of tools in front of you, and each one of these tools does a different thing, and it's useful for a different thing. And just take this time before you move on to the next one. Get your sculpt to this point. It's a continuous process. So this is just the very, very beginning, very tip of the iceberg for how we're going to actually make this sculpt really work.